Hello, Aries. Welcome to your reading. Thank you for joining me. I'm excited to read for you today. We're landing right on the Virgo new moon, which doesn't really matter because you'll find this whenever it's meant for you. But for me, I'm just feeling like super clear, super like fresh and new. And I had these really super powerful dreams last night. So it's just a really good time to read. And it's landing right on your reading, right on what I'm doing you. So that's not a coincidence. In fact, I think the last reading that we did was called a brand new, like it was like a brand new beginning. I can't remember the details of it. It might start coming back to me as I'm reading. But anyway, so continuation of that in this brand new energy. All right, Sandpiper Spirit, be playful. It's funny. This came up in the this came up for Pisces, which was the last reading, obviously, because Pisces is before Aries. So it's the last reading I did. Sandpiper Spirit, so we're still kind of in this energy of like, how do we play? How do we move in this new energy? How do we move in this higher timeline that's unfolding for a lot of us? Those of us on this part of the wave, okay? It's like new things are opening up, okay? So, but we'll see how it wants to come through for you today. Be playful, Sandpiper Spirit. Let's move into the tarot and see how it wants to deliver. Okay. So 8 of Earth, so this is definitely a card of like working on self, working on mastering something. I'm feeling this to really be something within you, kind of more might be reflected outwardly with a task, but what it's really about is this sort of like inner alignment work. That's what I'm feeling from that. But let's get some more cards and see. Are you working? I know I'm supposed to take those. I was going to put them back in. Okay, so you get Temperance, the 9 of Wands, and let's see what this is. Okay, the 3 of Cups. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so here's the celebration card. Okay, now here's you kind of in the cave doing this sort of alchemy. Okay, this goes with this working on self, which is what I was feeling from this. Like so this is the Temperance card, did I say that? Where you're kind of balancing the elements, you're balancing yourself, you're really focused. And this is like the Perseverance card, the 9 of Wands, where it's like, you just have to keep going. You have to keep going and you have to let that phoenix birth. You can't turn around and go out the other side of the cave. You can't go in the way you came, you can't go out the way you came in. You got to go the whole way through that tunnel, okay? You have to rebirth yourself through this tunnel. And how do you do that? But by doing that balancing work. This is really showing me as a balancing. There might be more information that wants to come through about that, but you probably know what that is. Whatever it is you've been working on within yourself, whether it's been, thoughts, self-sabotaging thoughts, or, whatever it is. You're focused. And I have the feeling that you're kind of like with this card, like, I'm going to get this pattern, whatever it is that you're trying to balance or bring into like a wholeness or circuitry where it can flow together rather than like leaking out your energy and scattering you in ways that distract you. So then this is kind of where the be playful energy comes in. It's like when our energy is really congruent and it has that contained circuitry where there's nothing leaking, then we can celebrate and we can play. Okay, so message there about that, whatever it was you've been doing, coming with the rebirth energy, this rebirth of your new self. Definitely this card indicating that there's been success, okay, that there's been success in what you've been doing. But this is also a collaboration card, so let's get a little bit more. Let's see, have you been doing this with other people or with another person? That's kind of the feeling that I'm getting. That's a lot of cards. Let me just peek at them. Oh yeah, frick, we're gonna take them. Yeah, okay. So, you get Page of Wands. Here you are, just like throwing caution to the wind. You're the sandpiper, running on the beach, playing. You're playing. Look at these sticks. There's something with, right? They're kind of matching with these sticks. Okay, you're throwing this up in the air. Where the sun has this card came out recently for me with the 10 of air, and the two cards really went together. So it's like coming that association in my mind again, where like the 10 of air, you go through the dark night of the soul, and then on the other side is the sunrise, and so that's kind of like this phoenix rising. Okay, there's the sunrise, that new dawn. That's kind of the end. That's kind of the energy that I'm feeling today, where I'm like, everything's possible. There you are. There's that energy, just like throwing your magic stick up into the air and knowing that it's going to manifest for you exactly what you deserve, because you did this, you put that work in, and you've had this success. Okay, but let's keep going, because there's some exciting cards in here. So there's the victory card as well, where it's like you did this, Aries. You crossed some kind of is it that you've crossed? No, it's like I want to say you've cleared, you've conquered, you've mastered. This is a card of mastery. You've mastered something within yourself that may have been a pattern that's been running your entire life. Like maybe I just keep feeling that like self-sabotage, like whatever stories you tell yourself that that keep you stuck. So again, it keeps wanting to talk about that like leaking of the energy. Sorry, my nose is running. I have allergies. Okay, I'll just try not to be doing this the whole time, but also don't want it to drip down my face. So we'll find a balance. But yeah, it's like you containing that circuitry where, but these patterns that tell a story that's not true, that like leaks your power and leaks your energy. So whatever that is for you, you might have been very, very aware of that and coming into this place of mastery with it. Okay, so again, the celebration. Having your, okay, so then comes the Two of Wands. So now you're in this sort of like new place. Look at all this like sacral chakra creation energy, where it's like, this Two of Wands is kind of, she's kind of quiet about it, but in some of them it's more like this. some of the decks, it's more just like, oh my god, I want this. Like I can see clearly now, now that my circuitry is contained and I'm able to run my own divine energy, without leaking it out. Now all of a sudden I know what I want. Now all of a sudden I know, I know how to like just like be in love with myself and play and play with my own energy in a way where I feel totally free and victorious and in celebration. So this is definitely a card of that I keep spitting, that spark of spark of creativity. It can be spark of like sexual energy being creative energy, being spiritual energy, but it's like that kundalini energy that arises in us when we have our container held in a way where it can move and play and then ripple out naturally. So although this energy, I can't help but notice that she's kind of Two of Wands. It's funny because she's coming kind of after this kind of energy, right? But the way she presents in this card is that she's just kind of sitting there thinking. Okay, she's sitting there thinking. She's feeling into it. She's planning what she wants to do. She's feeling the infinite possibilities. Yeah, there's something about how still this card is. But let's keep going. And wow. Okay. All right, Aries. So you get 10 of Cups, the Hierophant, and the Lovers. So I was kind of feeling from the energy with this card that there was a bit of a collaboration going on, where I feel like part of how you've been coming into this sort of mastery and this untangling of certain patterns within yourself has been in relation to an other. Okay, so this is this Hierophant in the middle. For me, I often read this card as the like the soul mission, right? Like it's written. Okay, so here's the Hierophant between the Lovers and between the 10 of Cups. Okay, so it's like there's something about this journey with you and another person is what I'm feeling, that is very much written and very much a part of your liberation and success, because again, that mastery and that sort of like tempering of the leaks, the energy leaks, the thoughts, the habits, the survival mechanisms. Okay, something about this person for you. It almost feels like this would be like a destined timing of when this lands. Like look at this. It's like it's landed. Here's where it was written. Look at how happy he is. Oh my God, he's so happy. It's like it's finally landed. Something about you and this person, and it might not be a person at this point. It might be more of like an energy that you're feeling, or maybe maybe you're having, because I was talking about my dreams last night, the powerful dreams. I always dream of people before I meet them. Like I'll meet their energy in the dream space, and then I'll meet them in real life. So not like everybody, but you know, those like these kind of connections, the higher connections that are really destined, and that are really destined to move you in ways that you couldn't before. To move you in ways, because part of the beauty of sacred sexuality is that container, that sealed container between you and that other person, where that alchemy can happen, you know. But that can't really happen unless you have that seal. So this is kind of matching up with your very first reading. If you watched that, you remember that it was like you were done with the karmic situations and you were kind of poised for this. I feel like this is starting to come in for you, Aries. You had you had the closure, and then you had this brand new start, fresh energy, and now what's happening? This kind of thing is landing. So if it hasn't landed yet for you, again, you might be feeling the energy of it, because we can pick up on that energy. If you really tune in to the dream space or meditation, you might actually feel like a presence around you. You might feel this person energetically meeting you, because it gives me chills, because it's so gorgeous. You know, it's so subtle. That's what was coming up in the reading I did recently for the new moon. This new moon actually today. But there's like a large call right now to lean into the behind, to lean into the energy behind things, because there are codes and sort of like pathways that timelines that we can tune into that are landing for us, and it's kind of like tuning into them that helps create a bridge for them to manifest. But at the same time, and this is coming up in that reading too, it's like it's not well, it was coming up in sort of a different way. It's not something that you have to like labor at, you know. It's not this energy where you have to like labor and kind of like stay really on top of yourself, you know, to break this pattern. This is more it's more like I'm sure you know what I'm saying. I'm just having trouble finding my words, but it's like, or maybe you don't, so I'll find them. But you know, it's like tuning that station. It's more so there is work in it, right? There is work in it. There is kind of like, well, and it follows beautifully from here, because what were you tempering back and forth? You might have been tempering the higher and the lower timeline, where it's like, in a sense, you know, you kept wanting to go into the habitual thoughts of the past and the conditioning and what you've always kind of known and experienced in your life, but then also hearing this kind of like higher calling, this kind of like this other timeline, this other energy, okay, coming in for you, and kind of like training yourself to have your ear to this, okay, have your ear to this. So maybe that's what you were working on, maybe that's what you mastered, but now, you know, because you did get quite a few indicators that like you did that, okay, and now here you are in this like playful energy. But you know, part of that, what's really coming through with these cards, and especially because the Hierophant was kind of like, I'm gonna put him back where I had him before. It was in between the Lovers and this. It's like there's sort of like this is the bridge, you know. This is the bridge between these two. It's like there's a couple different messages. Like one, what we already talked about, this person or this energy for you. Again, it might not be a person, it might be an energy coming in. It could also be your own energy, your own inner divine masculine or divine feminine energy that is emerging because of all this work that you did in balancing yourself, where, you know, he or she within is showing up for you, which then is a precursor to showing up in the outer world. But anyway, there's this this kind of union, whether it's a person or whether it's within yourself, is the bridge to this kind of heaven on earth timeline. Okay, this is the Ten of Cups, you know, where everything just feels really, really gorgeous, okay? So I don't know if I landed that. I might just repeat myself again. It's like there's a passageway between the higher timeline and between the alchemy with you and this person, or you within yourself. And a lot of there's a lot of information coming through, and I hope I'm landing it all. But a lot of how that is happening is by sealing off the energy leaks, within yourself, which is what you were doing here. You were getting that circuitry going, where what you put out came to you and then came back to you. It didn't get leaked out. You didn't leak out yourself in self-judgment. You didn't even leak out yourself in judging another, because that's still judging self, right? That's still separation, okay? You're keeping it contained, okay? So you this in a sense is you. You know, you have both your parts working together. There's that contained circuitry, which is the spark of creation. It is the spark of the spiritual, sexual, creative, healing energy. Okay, so the healing energy that emerges when we're in union with our polarities within ourselves, but also when you're, if it is externalized at this point for you, when you're in union or the energy of union is there for you with another person, there's great alchemy and there's great healing. This can be a card of healing, the Temperance card, great healing and great self-mastery. So let's keep going. Let's get more cards. And also just one last thing, like this really being a card of like divine order, divine blueprint, divine mission. Okay. So I feel like I'm a little scattered, but usually when I listen later, I'm like, oh no, that made sense. You know, so I'm just gonna keep going. Stop trying to over-explain things. But okay, so here we get this. Oh wow. Okay, so we get the Seven of Pentacles and the Devil. So here, you know, here's the process of the alchemy. You know, where you're moving through this work again, where you're moving through, you're tempering, you're confronting these things. In the reading yesterday or the day before yesterday, whenever it was for the new moon, which is today, the Devil came up in the other deck, and he was like the portal. He was the portal into this higher timeline. Okay, so it's kind of a similar message for you. You know, it's like we're in collective energies. We are a collective. You know, we're a collective moving through, and then it just gets translated a bit differently through the different elements. So it's, you know, there are some similarities, of course. Okay, but for you, it's really showing up with this partnership energy. Okay. But so anyway, you know, as you're stepping towards this this higher timeline, this sort of like thing that was written, okay, and stepping through within yourself, or stepping through at this point, or stepping through with another if you're at that point, okay. It kind of again, it pulls up this kind of stuff. It pulls up this kind of stuff for you to temper and be present with. That's the alchemy, okay. So this is showing. This is like the process card, you know, that you're in the process of doing this. You're in the process of doing this alchemy, going through this portal that's leading you into this, you know, this higher timeline, okay? I guess it is kind of symbolizing that, because here, you know, that which is written, you know, is in between these two. So it's like step one. Here are the steps: step one, step two, step three. So this is the process of sacred union. Finding that container within yourself without energy leaks, allowing yourself to move through the portal of your shadow elements, your self-sabotage, you know, whatever comes up for you, you know, whenever we start moving towards what we want and what we've meant. I saw a quote the other day, and it was like, the universe, you know, it always gives you what you want, but then it will give you a distraction to see if you're actually ready for what you want, you know, and kind of something like that. You know, it's like you're getting what you want, but then all this stuff comes up, you know, all this stuff kind of comes up, and, you know, well, what if, and whatever. But that's just a natural part of the process. That's what this is showing too. This energy's been coming up for a little while now, like maybe a week or two, where we are kind of in this process as we're moving on to our new timelines, which you're showing in your last reading. You know, is that, you know, we bump up against this stuff because it's like, well, this is new, you know, this new sort of playful, you know, victorious, you know, like joint effort, you know, like flow. It's just a new energy. It's a new frequency. It's a higher frequency, and it's different than what any of humanity has been used to. You know, we might have had moments of bliss and joy and ecstasy, but to really step into these higher timelines, into this higher frequency, and to anchor those energies down, it's a completely different set of rules. It's a completely different paradigm. And so, you know, there's a shedding. That theme keeps coming up too. There's a shedding that's going on as we move forward. We have to shed this stuff off. So I feel like this is saying, you know, this just that natural part of the process, again, kind of validating that. But it really did come out with a lot of victory cards, So I want to try to piece that together. I feel like there's something else it's trying to say. I'm gonna pull a goddess card and just get like one word, see if we can get a feel for how long did I talk for? 19 minutes. This might be a summary, but then it'll get me to say a lot more. So this might be the last card. Let's see. Okay, so let's help us piece this together. What is the message? What is it that you're trying to say? We have a lot of disjointed things. Time, communication, and what's this one? Focus. Okay. So, wow. Well, here we are again with like the bridge, the two energies, just like we had with these guys, okay? Just like we had with these guys, okay? The Hierophant in the middle, the Hierophant being kind of the soul plan, okay? This being the catalyst in a way, the catalyst, but the work, the balancing, and this being like where you're going, okay? So here we have, I don't remember how it came out when I first brought it, but the way it's showing up now is like time is in the middle, then communication and focus. There's something about these energies. Let me just look at these for a minute. Yeah. Focus. Time and communication. Focus, time, and look, she has an arrow. Okay, so she's focusing. Here's your intention. Here's you bridging, again, bridging to that higher timeline. Bridging to this higher timeline. Here's the time. Here's the time and space. Okay? Okay, this is what it is. I got it. It's like you are so in touch and so in tune with that which you're going, which is because of this soul contract that you have, this blueprint, this soul mission, this, how did I say it before, the blueprint, you know, the divinely orchestrated, your soul planned trek. Okay, you're so in tune with that. You're in tune with that, and you're bridging to this. Okay, you're bridging to this. You're bridging to this. So what does that mean? It means like we're trying to land it in the physical. And that's where the time piece comes in, right? Because it's not, this is making me feel that it probably hasn't landed yet. You know, that thing of like what I was talking about with this, like, you know, starting, originating in you, feeling the energy, maybe feeling it in the dreams, or even if you have met this person or have this sort of like in your hologram, it's like there's maybe a bit of a pause, or there's this sort of like passage that you're moving through, which is also what this is talking about, okay? Where there's the devil and there's the Seven of Pentacles, where it's like you're moving through this process of sloughing off and kind of like clearing up. But again, this message of, okay, you're doing it together. There is a victory. You know, there's absolutely a victory and a self-mastery. So I think what it's saying is just like hold that focus, because time, the time, the 3D appearance is giving the illusion, and maybe even there's a lack of communication. Maybe there's a lack of communication, or this could also be communication with your higher self, with the energy, with the behind, kind of like what was coming up in that new moon reading, where it's like pay attention to the subtleties, pay attention to what the energy is communicating. Like don't fall for the illusion of what's going on in this 3D realm. Don't let that define your reality, because you have such a focus on this vision, the vision of your higher timeline, the vision of that which your soul chose. There we go. That's how I want to say it. That which your soul chose long ago, which is in fact now landing, but the appearance is that it might not, because it's not showing up yet. So there's definitely like kind of a time thing, right? But that your focus is so strong, and your focus kind of being the bridge that lands this in real life time. And so I'm not really sure what this communication is. It could be specific to your situation. There could be something where, you know, maybe you're not having, again, a lot of validation or clear proof or knowing about something in the physical. So here could be the 3D representation of like of that, right, of the 3D version. But then we go beyond time, we go beyond into the behind with our focus. We focus on what's behind, and we're able to receive an energetic communication, which is more accurate, okay, which is more accurate and holds the frequency of this higher love, higher timeline, higher self-connection. Okay, so that's what you're tuning into. That's what you're tuning into. And again, the bridge where it's very important to maintain that focus. Again, the circuitry. Maintain that circuitry. Don't let the illusion and the appearance of the outer world and the fact that you might not be seeing what you see, right? You might not be seeing in the physical world what you see here, but to trust your vision, and to stay focused on it, because it is what's real. And as we move into these higher frequencies and these higher timelines, our sensitivity and our perception and our communication with our higher selves, and our ability to see through our third eye and to decipher the kind of like the soul mission, the soul plan, is going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. So that's why we're seeing I'm yelling, that's coming together. That's why we're seeing these kind of like a victory cards, okay? That's also why we're seeing this card as well. This card is an inevitability card in the Tarot of the Hidden Realm. It shows a pregnant woman. It's like the pregnancy, the birth of the baby is inevitable. Like, it's not going to stay in there forever. It's going to birth. You're just waiting for that to land. So that's another message with this, okay? Where this process is inevitable, and that you are going to be successful. It's already showing that. Now I understand why this was coming up. It's already showing that you've been successful. Why? Because in the behind, the energy lands first, which is the same message that was coming up with this. The energy is landing first. The energy of this person, the energy of your inner union is coming through, and that's the thing that you want to focus on, and you want to believe. You want to believe this. So there's that temperance again. You know, which timeline, which storyline are you going to choose? How are you going to bring them both together? How are you going to bring them into unity, so that you can have this kind of container within yourself where you can create and spark and play, but play with another, which is what I felt really strongly. Am I holding that in front of the camera? Yeah. Play with another. Where's the three of, yeah, there it is, the Three of Cups. That's what I felt really strongly when this card came out. This was a collaborative effort. So there were a lot of messages in this, and I hope that they all came through, because it's like, on the one hand, you're let me try to summarize. You're co-creating this with this person, or with this energy, with your energy within yourself, your two polarities, co-creating in union with yourself, and eventually creating with this other person. But this energy being very palpable and very real for you, because it's part of your soul mission and your soul plan that is actually landing now. And to perceive behind the time and the 3D presentation, to focus on that higher communication, and to stay in touch with the energy, because that is the truth of reality, and that is what's going to help you land it and have that kind of happiness and joy. And again, the mastery, which you're being so victorious about, and I just got chills, because you might not feel that you're being victorious. You might fall off the wagon quite a bit, where you're like, oh fuck, you know, it's over this cup again. Oh, let me put it over here. Let me keep it balanced. You know, where it's like kind of been a lot of work, but you've reached the point, even though you're still doing this, because it did show that this is still the process that you're in, and there's still a bit of a bridge to go through. A bit of a bridge, this being the bridge to go through, you know, in this process to get to here. It's showing that on the energetic level, you have had a success. Okay. So whatever is still playing out in the time-space continuum, in terms of like how well you think you're doing with this sort of self-mastery. So glad this is landing. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this together. In terms of this self-mastery, okay, that regardless of how you might perceive it, again, from this sort of like, look, it's a 3 card, the third dimensional perspective, you know, where you're in the matrix, and, you know, you're just kind of like looking at everything through the lens of the illusion, okay? The message here is that you have been so victorious, and on the energetic level, you've already landed this. You've already landed this. This is already yours. This is already yours, because you did that work, and you reached that kind of self-alignment and self-love and self-commitment within, and that has created this this bridge, again, the bridge, and to focus on that, and to know that you have been successful. I may be just like overpowering this point, or beating a dead horse, but I'm gonna do it anyway, because, you know, we need to hear this sometimes, because it's like it's kind of trippy, you know. You have this whole other vision, this whole other world, and and knowing and, you know, higher connection, but then the world just keeps coming along, and like, you know, that process of really aligning and refining, and, you know, that is the mastery that we're being asked to come into, where we can hold that steady focus. We can hold that steady focus on the higher timeline, receive that higher self communication, even higher self communication with this person's higher self, you know, or even if you are communicating with them in you know, the time space continuum, to speak from this higher place, where the two of you can anchor the truth of reality together by speaking it and affirming it and allowing it to weave, you know, between you. Just, you choose this higher perspective, and you bridge, and you bring it down. But again, just the final message that you have been victorious, you have achieved this on the higher levels, and now it's just a matter of holding your focus and maintaining that circuitry. Oh, this came up yesterday too. It's so crazy. Oh my God, it's so crazy, because with the new moon one, it was the very last card was mastery. It was in the goddess deck. It was mastery, but that's how I'm reading this card today. And then I knew, I was like, it's an inevitability. It's an inevitability because, you know, even though we're doing this sort of like, it was presented a little bit differently, but because it wasn't specific about a partnership, but it was still that self. I can't remember right now, but it was still that self mastery. Yeah, it was going through this portal, through our darkness, through our shadow parts, going through this portal and birthing the new reality. Okay, but both instances, you know, again, this message of mastery, where it's inevitable. Okay, it's inevitable. But what I wasn't seeing yesterday that I am now, thank you, Aries, is that's because you've achieved it on the higher level. You've achieved it in the subtle realms, and you can trust that. So trust that and know that. We're at 31 minutes. That seems to be my cutoff point these days. Thank you so much for listening. I'm going to go listen to this and hope that it made sense. And yeah, I'll see you next time if I do. Take care.